Hey, what's good, everybody? Yeah, 2020's over. It makes no sense, like I still can't process the fact that this year went by. So right now I'm in Echo Park in New Jersey because I'm staying with my cousins in New Jersey, and so it's already been a week actually, but yeah, this is my video on 2020. It's already been this is a yearly tradition that I'm doing already, starting in 2018, 2019, and now 2020. This is unscripted. I only have 3 points that I want, or 3 questions actually, that I want to talk about that I have in my little journal. First is, I don't know if you're not going to be reading. What got me through 2020? Second being, what was the most important lesson of 2020? And last, what will I leave behind in 2020? By the end of this video, I hope that you have your answers to these 3 questions. And hopefully that can propel you into the new year, which is right around the corner. Right now it's December 29th. I'm only filming this early because in a few days I know that it's going to be colder and the weather's not going to be nice, so I'm doing it right now. But yeah, first question. What got me through? It's really windy. I don't know if it's going to be sounding like that. I hope it doesn't, because I don't want to refilm this. But what got me through 2020? The biggest answer is it's faith. I'm a Christian myself, and I honestly was honestly a very bad Christian. I never went to church. I never really, worshipped properly, and I only prayed when I needed it. At my high points I never really prayed, but at my low points, when I really thought that things weren't going right, that's when I started praying. But last Christmas was when I properly got back into that mindset where, I should be praying continuously. I should be rejoicing always, and giving thanks in all circumstances, because I shouldn't just be depending on for religion. I'm just gonna say religion to be inclusive for everybody, but I shouldn't be relying on a higher power when I need them only. I should always be thankful. I should always be looking towards God, because it's not just at the lowest points that we need them. It's also at the highest points, because we should be thankful for that blessing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that honestly was the biggest thing that got me through this year, having faith. Because having faith means that you're having hope, and to have hope means that you're alive. This year of 2020, the COVID pandemic hit everybody equally. There's not a person that has had more. I mean, everybody has their own difficulties and their own problems that this year and this pandemic has brought to them. But it's how you deal with those problems. It's how you react to those problems. Are you going to be let down by it? Are you going to be pulled down by it? Or are you going to be courageous, and you're not going to let that fear overcome you? Yeah. Second quick. Damn, I forgot. That's why I write things down these days. That's another thing that got me through 2020, writing things down. Whether it be your thoughts, just any little simple thing. Writing is a great way to express your feelings and just, It's a great way to wind down and just be calm, be present in the moment, because that's all you're doing when you're writing, you know. What was the most important lesson of 2020? I'm gonna take my mask off because there's literally nobody here. But the most important lesson of 2020 that I have learned and that I want to share with you guys is it's actually a lesson that I learned from George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, you know. But he had a speech quite recently about what necessarily happiness is. And I'm just paraphrasing. These are all his words, right? But he said that happiness is divided into two kinds of happiness. First being pleasure, second being joy. Pleasure is short-lived, and by that it happens and it just goes away, right? And in the happiness that comes with pleasure is very high peak. It's very high peak. You feel very intense. You feel so happy in that pleasure moment, and then it goes away. It peaks high, then goes down. But if you want to achieve that peak again, you need to do twice as more, and it takes a lot more than just the original amount of pleasure it took you. And you know, the most common thing with this is, I guess, the most easy example that people can kind of understand is shopping, right? You buy a new pair of clothes, a new pair of sneakers, you're like, wow, it's good, you know, it feels good, you feel fresh, but then it goes away because your sneakers get dirty. I can't show you right now, but my sneakers are dirty because I fell in the lake a couple of days ago. And in order for me to achieve that same level of pleasure, I need to get a newer shoe, a cleaner shoe, probably a more expensive shoe, right? And that's not a good type of happiness, right? It's kind of like drugs. But the other type of happiness is joy. And with that, that's something that isn't as intense of an emotion, but it lasts a very long time, right? That's something that's kind of like, you know, it stays with you in your heart, because joy is something that comes when you're compassionate, when you're doing something for somebody or something else, right? Pleasure is self-centered. Pleasure is all about you. It's only about you, right? The reason why people buy new shoes, new clothes, new whatever it be, is to kind of feel, you know, accepted, or in a way, because of the society that we live in. You know, people are always trying to better themselves, and that's what pleasure comes from. But joy is compassion. It's doing something. It's doing, or I guess, sacrificing in a way, you know, your energy for somebody else. It's what filmmaking is for me, right? I'm sacrificing my time and my energy to talk to all of you guys, because that's what brings me joy and happiness. And this is gonna stay in my life forever, right? Quite literally, it's gonna stay on the internet as something that's immortal. That's what joy is. Joy is immortal. It doesn't die, right? It's something that took me very, very long to kind of take a grasp around, because of all of the events that have happened, not just this year, but of my 19 years that I've been on this earth. And I'm actually so blessed to have realized this at such a young age. You know, I know people that are I don't know people, but when I look at celebrities and when I look at people that have succeeded, they still think that pleasure is the best kind of happiness. When in reality, no, it's not. Joy is something that you can't really, it's immeasurable. I don't know if that's a word, but you can't measure it. You know, I came back to New York in August, and I lived in a dorm alone, in a 4-person suite alone, absolutely alone, no guests allowed. I was the only person in that room from August till December. Nobody has ever been in that room. And I was secluded, I was isolated. But I did meet friends like around the city, but through that time I was really alone. Oh, hey doggy. Hello. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a doggy that came by. But yeah, I was alone for 4 months, and that kind of made me depressed, of course, because I was so isolated. I don't know if it's too dark. It's all right. But last week I came here to New Jersey, my hometown, where my cousins live. And the last time that I met them was in 2010 in Korea. And the only memory that I have of them is that we went to Lotte World. And we went to the Kizania. I don't know if any of you know that. But, you know, of 10 years, we didn't communicate with each other. We didn't even do it. Like, I don't even know what all of them were, you know, what their lives were, and they didn't know what my life was like. But I reached out to them like around Thanksgiving on Facebook, and my aunt, she was so welcoming. She was so happy that I reached out to her, and she was like, "Oh, like if whenever you want, just come over, and you can stay as long as you want." And you know, that sense that I have family here, right? And the fact that I'm here in New York, so close to New Jersey. You know, life is structured in a way, and it's all written out for you. The future is already written, where, you know, if I actually got into USC, my dream school, then, you know, I probably would have still came back to America for the semester, but I would be spending this you know, this winter, this holiday season, the end of the year, probably alone, because I don't have family there. I would only have my friends, but spending the end of the year with friends is completely different with family. That's the difference between pleasure and joy. You know. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that 2021 is a year that is full of joy. And I'm not saying that pleasure is bad. Pleasure is definitely good too, you know. A little pleasure here and there is perfectly fine, because you need that kind of peak too. But to think that pleasure is the only type of happiness, that's where it gets dangerous and harmful for you. Okay. And now the last final question, what will I leave behind in 2020? This answer is actually my good friend JJ Yang's answer to the question. But he said that he's gonna leave nothing behind in 2020. Right? He's leaving absolutely nothing behind, because he's bringing everything. He's bringing all that he's learned. He's bringing all of the bad things, all of the good things into the new year, because without the bad and the good, or I guess without the bad, you don't know what the good feels like. It's through the bad things that happen, it's through the mistakes, it's through all of our faults in our lives that we learn how to be better, right? And so I hope that all of you aren't leaving anything behind in 2020. Okay? with that, I just wish that all of you stay safe, healthy during these seemingly dark times, but light is right at the end of the tunnel. All right? Stay at peace, and I'll be seeing you next year. All right? Have a very, very, very happy new year. I'll see you soon.